And the Thanksgiving break is almost over. The Thanksgiving weekend is almost over. This is Jeff Downs, the Streakin podcast, and I have an article that I wanted to share with you that my good friend Jim Huling wrote. He wrote it on LinkedIn, and it was fascinating to me. Often Jim's posts are great, and a little shout out to him. He is a fantastic individual. The post that he had on LinkedIn that I want to talk with you about is called, well, I don't think he gives it a title here, actually. He, what does he say here? If it has a title at all, it doesn't. But it has a picture of a hand picking a apple. And the article is related to that, the lowest hanging fruit, that saying that is the lowest hanging fruit. This is what he writes. One of my coaching clients recently asked me an important question. Why do we have to work at these deeper questions? Why don't we just grab the low-hanging fruit first, he said. We can always do the hard things later. I've heard the phrase low-hanging fruit all my life and am convinced the whole idea is not only misleading, it can cause us to miss the things that matter most, especially when it leads us to the wrong mindset. Here are 3 reasons I hope you'll approach low-hanging fruit with caution. Number 1, oversimplification of complexity. The idea of, quote, low-hanging fruit implies that there are effortless solutions to challenges. Usually, this isn't true, but if we aren't careful, we buy the easy fix and never do the real work needed for a permanent solution. Number 2, false sense of progress. While starting with easy tasks can offer quick wins, relying solely on them can create a false sense of achievement. If we want to create real growth, at some point, we have to push beyond what is easily attainable and build the strength needed to create something more. Number 3, ignoring long-term vision. The concept of low-hanging fruit can create a short-term mindset, one where we think too much about what we want now instead of what we want most. If we stay fixated on low-hanging fruit, we can risk losing sight of the larger vision we have for our lives. So grab all the low-hanging fruit you want. Small, easy steps can lead to great outcomes, but don't let them distract you from the greater achievement, the strong and resilient person of vision you are becoming in the process. Okay, that is the article posted on LinkedIn. And there's a couple of things here that Jim mentions that I want to talk with you about in regards to streaking. And you probably heard some of what Jim said may be in complete contradiction to what we talk about in streaking, because in streaking, we talk about the laughably small. Now, Jim is a great big streaker. He and I have talked a lot about it. He endorsed the book. He knows exactly what we talk about as far as law number 1, which is make it laughably simple. And what are you making laughably simple? The activity on which you choose to streak. In his low-hanging fruit, I actually agree with him in the sense that sometimes we go after low-hanging fruit. And what is the low-hanging fruit we're going after? This is where I believe that we need to make the separation between outputs or achievements and inputs. The low-hanging fruit are the accomplishments and achievements that you can get easily and quickly. It's an output. It's always an output. It's something that is external. When you are going for low-hanging fruit, the quick reward, the quick win. You see, all of those things are low-hanging fruit. They're the outcomes for which you strive to get. And as you look at it in that way, oversimplification of complexity is when you're looking for the outcome or the achievement. Achievements, wins, can be and are complex. There are many things that go into a win. False sense of progress. In other words, you get many, many wins and you think that you're progressing. But remember, the win is the external thing that you're going after and then ignoring the long-term vision. When you go for the low-hanging fruit, what you're going for is an easy outcome. Streaking is not about easy outcomes. It is actually about becoming the person you want to be. In other words, what Jim here says at the end, don't let them distract you from the greater achievement, which is the strong and resilient person of vision you are becoming in the process. When you look at resilient person of vision you are becoming in the process, that is streaking. It's the inputs that you need to put your focus and emphasis on. The effort comes in the consistency and the consecutiveness. It comes from looking at what you are becoming or who you want to become and putting in every single day the inputs that are going to get you there. When you focus on and put your emphasis on the consistency, consecutiveness of your inputs, that then helps you to avoid these three traps, which is oversimplification of complexity, false sense of progress, and ignoring the long-term vision. Let's go into false sense of progress for just a second. If you look at the inputs, you know that there's no false sense of progress because the inputs are what are getting you to that ultimate achievement. The idea, while starting, this is from the article, with easy tasks can offer quick wins, what I would suggest here is that the consistent, easy activity or the simple activity is absolutely on what you want to build a floor. And then when you want to reach for who you want to become or reach for that extra effort, what you then can do is stand on the floor of your success and reach for it. And what is the success in? It's in the inputs that you want to do. When he says this, relying solely on them can create a false sense of achievement. What that means is, again, that you're winning at the outcomes. Whereas when you have the inputs, you don't have a false sense of achievement. You know immediately what it is that you're doing every single day to become that person. Case in point. A streak that you know I have and have talked about quite often is write at least one sentence every day. That sentence is not giving me any type of indication that I have a false sense of achievement. I don't. I know that it is a means to an end. It is something, the effort, the consistency that I'm putting into that is going to lead to, for example, as I hold up here, the Streaking book. It was the one sentence a day that got me writing on a regular basis that then created the output of the Streaking book, which was real achievement. I'd never written a book in my life. Jamie had never written a book in her life. She and I collaborating together, talking about it together, that was real achievement. And it came from the simple input of at least one sentence every day. But I was not deluding myself thinking that that one sentence a day was the book. Do you see the difference? I'm not saying that the input is the achievement. It is the input that leads to the achievement, that sets up the foundation for the success and achievement that you're going to get to. And it does give you the real sense of winning every day. You're successful every single day. Why? Because you keep the streak alive. That is true progress. When you have the consistency, the consecutiveness of doing the streak every single day, that gets you where you need to go. In other words, who you want to be. Because as you look at the end of what he says here, don't let them distract you from the greater achievement. What's being the distraction? The low-hanging fruit, which is the outcome. Don't let that distract you. Distraction means that you will stop doing what you know you need to do on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis to become the person you want to be. Don't let a simple achievement or something that was easy to get in the sense of an outcome distract you from continuing forward on what you want to do with your streaks every single day. Let me give you another example. When you are looking for physical fitness and you're striving diligently to become a more healthy and fit person, what you can do is get easy wins quickly. In other words, you can up your intensity and feel really good and have sore muscles the next day. Then not work out again for another couple of weeks. The achievement of the one workout and the sore muscles took you away from, distracted you from the everyday consistency that comes from at least one push-up, at least one squat, at least one plank, and at least 1 mile. That is the consistency that will then allow you to progress to the achievement of a healthy and fit body. Here is where we really get good and get into the excitement of becoming who you want to be. It is that constant, everyday effort. That's where it comes in. So when you're approaching low-hanging fruit, know that the achievement that you're going for is not the input. It is the long-term marathon that you want to run, book that you want to write, person that you want to become, and that it's the everyday inputs, the laughably simple everyday inputs that you record and also share that make you who you want to be. If I could do anything to convince anyone out there that this works, I would do it. If I could help you see how powerful it is to track, to mark, to do the simple, small thing every single day. We have streakers all over the world who know this. Here's one of the downfalls of streaking. And one of the things that I caution you on reading an article like this, you can immediately start to dismiss the inputs because you're saying, well, I don't want to do those small, simple things. I mean, those small, simple things, they're not the real things. And they'll give me the false sense of security that I'm actually making progress. Wrong. You're thinking wrong. This false sense of security comes in the achievements that you win quickly and that really don't have root. That's where it becomes difficult, or that's where it becomes distracting. So set your streaks in accordance with who you want to be and do them every single day. Do the laughably small and build from there. In our streaking language, in the streaking methodology, what we talk about when you're setting your streak is at least, the two words at least. What that does is say, this is my floor and I can build from there. When you are becoming who you want to be and you're doing it because you're doing your streaks every single day, then you feel real accomplishment and success. If you want to learn more about streaking, buy the book at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or anywhere books are sold. You can also, and most importantly, download the app. The app is a place where you can see other streakers, what streaks they've set in physical, spiritual, intellectual, emotional, social realms. You can see what it is that they're doing and celebrate with them, and then set up your own streaks, mark your success, and celebrate with everyone else. Until we talk again, keep streaking.